You walk into the meeting, and your manager does not ask what happened. She says, "A few people are concerned about how you handled it." Then a coworker you barely know makes a joke about you. And everyone laughs half a second too quickly. That is the difference between a rumor somewhere outside the room and a frame already operating inside it. Your next sentence is about to be used as evidence for a conclusion they reached before you arrived. The trap is to start explaining your whole character. Do not. First ask, what exactly are we responding to? That question does three things. It slows the room down. It separates facts from atmosphere. It forces a hidden assumption to become a clear statement, one you can actually answer. In this video, you will learn the 5-part forensic reset. How to stop defending, trace the source, and lock a new frame before the room moves on. Go back to the meeting. Your manager says, "A few people are concerned that you were difficult during the handoff." Notice what is missing. No date. No sentence you said. No decision you made. Your first instinct is to unload your entire history. You stayed late. You fixed the report. You answered every message. You have never been difficult. That is the first bad move. The concern is still vague, but now you are defending your character as if the charge were already proven. Freeze the defense. It sounds like my response during the handoff is being interpreted as uncooperative. What specific moment are we discussing? You did not accuse anyone. You did not accept the label. You named the assumption and asked for the event underneath it. Now the room has to leave the fog and enter the record. Maybe the manager finally says, "On Tuesday, when Maya asked for the file, you said you were not sending another version." Good. Now you have something real. You can answer Tuesday. You do not have to defend your entire personality. This is how a prepared room works. Someone does not need to control every fact. They only need to control what the facts are supposed to mean. A pause becomes attitude. A question becomes resistance. A tired face becomes hostility. Once the interpretation arrives first, normal behavior is used as evidence. That is why you interrupt the frame before you explain the behavior. Now change the room. You are at a family dinner. Someone you have not spoken to in weeks asks in front of everyone, "So, are you still having problems with money?" Your fork stops. Your sister looks down at her plate. Two people suddenly become very interested in your answer. The obvious reaction is, "Who told you that?" But if you say it with heat, the room stops looking at the leaked information and starts looking at your reaction. Trace the source without performing panic. What information are you referring to? Then wait. They may answer, "I just heard things have been difficult." Do not chase things. Ask, what exactly did you hear? That is not paranoia. It is source control. You are finding out whether the room is responding to a fact, a guess, or a private conversation that traveled farther than it should have. And watch the room. Not for guilty faces, for information. Who answers for someone else? Who suddenly changes the subject? Who repeats the same phrase, word for word? One awkward question does not prove a campaign. One strange laugh does not prove the room was poisoned. Look for observable patterns, the same framing from different people. Private information appearing where you did not place it, a reaction being baited, or assumptions being treated as settled facts. Respond to evidence. Do not invent intent. Now imagine a friend group. Before you arrive, someone says, "Just be careful." They get defensive when anyone disagrees with them. Later, a person cuts you off 3 times. When you finally say, "Can I finish?" they lean back and smile. There it is. That is confirmation bait. They provoke the reaction the room was told to expect. Your job is not to prove that you are never defensive. Return to the present evidence. I asked to finish one sentence after being interrupted. Let's deal with that. Not a description of my personality. Short, specific. Present tense. The frame says, "Your reaction proves who you are." The reset says, "No, this conversation has an event and we are going to name it accurately." You were interrupted. You asked to finish. That is the record. The more calmly you hold the record, the harder it becomes for the room to turn your normal boundary into evidence for a story you never agreed to enter. Bad path. Over-explain. You hand the room 10 new details to reinterpret. Bad path. Accuse everyone. Now the discussion becomes your accusation instead of the original concern. Bad path. Demand names immediately. People protect themselves and the useful information disappears. Bad path. Storm out. The planted frame leaves the room with no competing record. You do not beat a prepared room with more emotion. You beat it with sequence. Let's replay the workplace meeting from the beginning. A few people are concerned about how you handled the handoff. This time, you do not defend your character. Step 1. Freeze. You take one breath. No resume, no list of sacrifices. No speech about being misunderstood. Step 2. Name. It sounds like my response is being interpreted as uncooperative. Step 3. Trace. What exact moment or statement is that concern based on? The manager names Tuesday and the file request. Step 4. Return. On Tuesday, I said I would not send another version until the incorrect numbers were fixed. I was protecting the accuracy of the report. Now the step most people miss. Lock the new frame. So, we are not discussing a refusal to cooperate. We are discussing whether I should have flagged the errors before pausing the handoff. I can address that. Listen to what happened. You did not merely deny difficult, you replaced it with a precise, workable understanding. And you secured that understanding before the meeting moved on. Remember the 5 moves. Stop. Do not defend your whole character. Name. Say what assumption is operating. Trace. Ask what fact, source, or event supports it. Return. Bring the room back to present evidence. Lock. State the corrected understanding before anyone changes the subject. Some rooms need one clean reset, but sometimes the same frame follows you into meetings, friendships, and conversations you were never part of. That requires more than one interruption. It requires a full frame reset protocol. For now, remember this. When someone gets to the room before you, do not race to defend yourself. Make the room tell you what it believes, and then reset the record.